Hey, friend, welcome to this sample of bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women. I'm going to be sharing just a taste of what you can expect within the bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women experience. And so let's dive right in. I want you to finish this sentence for me. I want to be the kind of woman who, okay, let me give it to you again. I want to be the kind of woman who, listen, if you don't identify it, if you don't name it, you will find yourself going along on your journey, becoming probably what other people want you to be and not who you were truly created to be. Finish the sentence. I want to be the kind of woman who. I remember many years ago, girl, I said many years ago, like I've been doing this for 5, 6 years, honey. This has been about 3 years. I remember I decided I wanted to be the kind of woman who ran. I want to be the kind of woman who gets up and goes running. And that was so far from who I was at that moment. Now, sis, I am the kind of woman who is going to run out of the country now. When I was just in Italy, sure, I ran and I fell on those cobbled stones, but I'm still the kind of woman who runs, and it does something for me. It has literally changed my life. Finish the sentence. I want to be the kind of woman who, but I'm not going to leave you hanging. I want you to name it. I want you to write it out, but I'm going to help you with what I call the PACE method. Okay. So, the PACE method, of course, is PACE. And this is the method that kind of helps us systemize becoming the woman we want to be. So, PACE, PACE. Let's start with the P. P stands for prioritize and plan. Let me explain. If you're going to be the kind of woman that you wrote down, you're going to have to first prioritize your soul care. Now, I know we hear about self care all the time, and self care is important. Often, self care, girl, is getting your nails done, getting your hair done. It ain't nothing wrong with some self care. But I want you to do self care, but I want you to go a layer deeper. I want you to do soul care. Soul care is what you do to care for your soul. Are you meditating? Are you praying? Are you having healthy, safe relationships? Are you exercising? Exercise can be self and soul care. Are you taking care of your body? I want you to prioritize soul care. Let me tell you a hint within bite sized breakthroughs for busy women. One of the first exercises that I encourage the women to do is deep breathing. Just practice deep breathing. That is soul care. So, pace, prioritize your soul care. But P also is practically plan out what it is and what it looks like to soul care. Girl, you got to put it on your calendar. Bite sized breakthroughs for busy women and for women just like you who have so many things pulling at your time, so many things you are juggling. And if you don't plan it out, if you don't calendar it, it ain't gonna happen. And I mean it just like that. It ain't gonna happen. So, the same way you put on your calendar getting your nails done and you put on your calendar getting your hair done, girl, you already know you have to put on your calendar when you're gonna take your braids out or take that weave out. Girl, I already know you put it on your calendar. And so I want you to put on your calendar, practically plan out when you are going to soul care. Honey, it can be, you know what? Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I get up 30 days earlier, 30 days, 30 minutes earlier just to deep breathe or to practice deep breathing. Or Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are the time that I really have an extended time in prayer. I want you to plan it out. Okay. So the P is prioritize your soul care and practically plan it out. Let's talk about the A. A is acknowledging what you want. Sis, I cannot tell you how hard it is for women like you. Girl, I'm talking about you. I cannot tell you how hard it is for women just like you to truly just acknowledge what it is that they want. You ought to know what your children want. You know what your man wants. You know what your mama wants. You know what the church wants. You know what the sorority wants. But, girl, what do you want? I know. I know just that question alone can be challenging for us to really consider. What do you want? What does an intentional life look like? If I could wave a magic wand, what would elevation look like? Girl, what do you want? I want you to acknowledge it. And then I want you to act as though you are already there. Remember, the question is, I want to be the kind of woman who, girl, I want you to act like you are already there. The woman that you want to be, what does she wear? How does she talk? It's not faking it till you make it. It's living it until you're living it, honey. I like that. It's not faking it until you make it. It is living it until you're living it. What does she? How does she talk? Where does she go? What does she drive, honey? If she drives a certain kind of car, go test drive it. I want you to act as much as you can as though you are already there. You know, in bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women, we're going to spend a lot of time doing things that encompass mind, body, and spirit, because you want to bring all of you, the wholeness of you, into all activities. And so part of acting as though you're already there begins to bring in all of you. And so you may not be living in that house already, but what type of decor does she have in the house? Flip through some magazines. What kind of decor does she have in the house? And how can you mimic or imitate that decor? You may not be able to drop $10,000 on a painting. And baby, even when you're there, you may not even want to do that, but you can get a dupe. You can get a dupe of the painting. I want you to act as though you are already there. Okay, remember, we are pacing out who it is and what it looks like to be the woman you want to be. We talked about prioritizing soul care, practically planning it out, acknowledging what you want, acting as though you are already there. Here is the C. I need you to carve out specific steps. When I decided to start running, I literally did several things. Number one, I'm laughing because you guys are going to think this is ridiculous, but I literally reached out to women who I admired who ran, and I asked them, "What did you do about your hair?" Girl, what do you do about your hair? One of my girlfriends, hey girl, I ain't gonna say your name because you don't want people to know what you told me. But my girl said, honey, I had to get my perm back. She said, because I wasn't, she said, I had to, she said, I had, this was her word, she said, I had to choose between being overweight or having cute hair. And she said, I decided I don't want to be overweight, so I'm going to get a perm. She said, because I don't know how to do my hair, so a perm just made it easier. So I literally, carving out specific steps, I asked, what do I do about my hair? Some of my girlfriends told me about a certain hair wrap to put on when I'm running. And Robin, don't take it off until you stop sweating and your hair dries. What does it take? What are the specific steps to become the woman you want to be? What does that look like? Like, what is it going to require? I want you to carve out the specific steps. Is it going to require a career change? Then what are those steps? Let's go back to me running. My husband took me to a shop that helped me figure out the exact kind of shoe I needed to be successful. I want you to carve out the specific steps. And then the other C is I want you to create community. That's part of what happens in bite sized breakthroughs for busy women. But I want you to create a community. Listen, you are not going to get to the place you want to be by yourself. I don't care how much you convince yourself that you can. You cannot get there by yourself. You got to carve out community. And I already know y'all are going to tell me, Robin, I can't make friends, or it's not as easy now to make friends. What am I going to do? Write a note? Yes, no, maybe so. Will you be my friend? I know it is difficult, but I want you to put yourself out there. The Bible says, how dare you want a friend and you ain't been friendly? Okay, it may not say it just like that, but it says, he who wants a friend must first show themselves friendly. I want you to take the risk. We're going to talk about friendships so much in bite sized breakthroughs for busy women, but I want you to create a community. Can I give you a specific step that you can do? There is a dating app called Bumble. I don't know nothing about Bumble, honey, because I got a man, okay? I got my husband, but Bumble has a friendship part of the app. Then there's a website called Meetup. Now, I'm not endorsing them, they need to give me some type of deal. But Meetup is another app you can use to find people who have common interests. So I want you to create community. So, what have we talked about so far? If we were in church, I would have you repeat it back to me, but we've talked about prioritizing soul care, practically planning it out, acknowledging what you want, act as though you were there, carve out specific steps, create community, and then the E. I want you to evaluate what is and isn't working. I want you to evaluate currently, right now, what is working in your life and what isn't. Honey, if you don't tell yourself the truth, you will never find the freedom you are looking for. Somebody write that down. Speaking of bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women, we actually have a journal. Now, you don't have to be in the program to access the journal. You can get it by clicking the link that is popping up somewhere. It might be in my bio, depending on where you are watching this. It may be in the comment section, depending on where you're watching this. But get the journal. You get a discount if you are in the program. But the reason why I pulled that out is because it's critically important that you tell yourself the truth. And that's a note that you need to make for yourself. You cannot shift without being honest with yourself. So I want you to evaluate what is working in your life and what isn't. You may need to get some help from a friend, that community we talked about, to gain clarity. Evaluate what is working in your life and what isn't working. And here's the last part of PACE: it is managing your expectations. There are three types of expectations. It is what expectations that we've expressed, expectations that we have not expressed, and expectations that are unrealistic. So you have expressed expectations, unexpressed expectations, and then expectations that are unrealistic. And when there is a gap between what you were expecting and what you are experiencing, then in that gap becomes anger and disappointment and frustration. And I want to help you bridge the gap between what you were expecting and what you are experiencing. But you got to be honest about those expectations. Are your expectations of yourself and of others? Have you even expressed it? If you have, are those expectations realistic? Again, you may need some help unpacking that. And so I want to go back to the top of my question. What kind of woman do you really want to be? I want to be the kind of woman who, well, girl, you have to pace yourself. You have to prioritize soul care. You have to practically plan it out. You have to acknowledge what you want. You have to act as though you are already there. You have to carve out specific steps. You have to create community. You have to evaluate what is and isn't working. And you have to manage your expectations. You have to pace yourself. That's it for this first day in our 5-day taste of bite sized breakthroughs for busy women. To learn more, click the link in my bio. I'll see you soon.